Thank you, Darren. It is a crucial second-tier clash to kick off the weekend on the TalkSport network. Sunderland's defeat to Ipswich on Saturday saw them drop out of the Championship playoffs. Their visitors Hull are just 1 point and 2 places behind them. Their FA Cup exit in midweek at the hands of Birmingham means it's an all-out assault on the top 6 for both these teams. No further distractions. It's the Black Cats versus the Tigers. I'll go through the teams for you. 2 changes apiece. I'll start with the hosts. Anthony Patterson in goal. Jensen Seelt comes into the side. He'll be at right back. Trey Hume then will be on the left. Dan Ballard and Luke O'Nien in the middle of those. In front of them, Dan Neil and Pierre Ekwa. Alex Pritchard playing that central attacking midfield role. Joe Bellingham will be on the right. Jack Clark making his 100th Sunderland appearance will be on the left. And another returning man, Nazari Rustin, comes in to lead the line. As for Hull, Ryan Alsop will be in goal. Matthew Jacob Greaves, Alfie Jones and Louis Coyle will be the back four behind Regan Slater and Liverpool loanee Tyler Morton. A big coup in signing Fabio Carvalho on loan to the rest of the season from Liverpool. He's in attacking midfield. On the left is Jason Lakilo on his way back into the team. He's also joined by Greg Doherty, who comes back into the 11, and leading the line, Ozan Tufan. And joining me in the commentary box as the sides spill out onto a lush green playing surface at the Stadium of Light is a man who played over 350 league games for Sunderland. It is TalkSport's Mickey Gray.
Cameron, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm good.
I'm really looking forward to this game. I think two sides who like to get the ball down and play some really exciting football, and I certainly think we're going to get that tonight. It was very difficult to split these two sides on Boxing Day. Jack Clark got the goal that evening, but tonight is a real tough one. Carvalho, certainly somebody to watch in a Hull City shirt. What a coup that is for Hull City. Absolutely brilliant player. Looking forward to seeing him and the changes that Sunderland have made. Rustin coming back in and obviously Seelt playing in the back four. It's going to be interesting. And another interesting thing is, I've not seen this very often, the sides have just switched around.
Do you know, I read a really fascinating article on this about the metrics of making teams change, and the article seemed to suggest that if you're the away team and you win the toss, you need to try and flip the heads. I think it's something to do with the distraction or just the lack of routine for our home team. I'm not sure I read into that quite so much, but I tell you, it is a raucous atmosphere again tonight. There was a big, loud rendition of Wise Men Say as they came out of the tunnel, and so, well, despite the freezing temperatures, Sunderland fans are definitely up for this. So we're underway. Sunderland kicking from right to left here at the Stadium of Light. Friday night action on TalkSport 2, where we'll go back towards the edge of the penalty area with Luke O'Nien as they look to try and find a way back into the Championship top 6. They can do that with a point. Hull will need a win to go back into the playoff places. They have lost their last 2 in the league. So a throw into Sunderland on halfway. They're wearing their traditional red and white striped shirts, black shorts with red socks. For Hull, they are all in their home strip of orange. And it will be Sunderland who splay out from left to right. Again with O'Nien trying to leap a ball downfield. He's trying to find Alex Pritchard. He's gone over to the right-hand side, Alex Pritchard, and we were looking where I've got stickers down for my notes, Mickey, and I've torn that many of them up and replanted them. It's made a right mess of my notebook. But we were trying to work out how these two teams are lining up, and so I wonder, having seen that, if Alex Pritchard is going to go out to the right, or do you think he's just trying to move across to chase a few stray balls? It's an interesting one because both managers have been forced into changes. We've got a lot of chop and changing this week.
Yeah, well, in the build-up to the game, we were actually trying to work out both sides, weren't we, and what systems we would play. We don't really know yet because Hull haven't got themselves on the ball yet, if it's going to be a 4-4-2 or is it going to be a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Sunderland themselves, I think what the manager Michael Beale will probably say to his forward players is say, look, play where you want, but if you give the ball away, get yourself into a position where you're going to help the team out defensively as well. So yeah, they're going to chop and change their positions, no doubt about it.
Well, as it stands, it's Pritchard who's going out to the right, and then Joe Bellingham is playing in almost an attacking midfield role behind Rustin. It's Sunderland who still have it on the edge of their own penalty area. Forward comes Ballard, distinctive yellow boots. Up to halfway he goes. Here comes the man of the moment, Jack Clark. 13 goals in this season for Sunderland. A long way ahead of anyone else in the scoring lineups. Black Cats coming down the left-hand flank. They've got Neil on the corner of the area. Uses Clark again, running at the defence. It's Coyle trying to stand him up. Makes a good fist of it. Kept alive by Trey Hume. Tight to the left-hand touchline. He skips and tries to whip across it. Dispossessed he is by Louis Coyle. Will get their first play on the ball, but possession is only brief. Neil's won it back, and he's managed to find Rustin on the edge of the penalty area. But quickly the Ukrainian is trebled upon by orange shirts, and Hull, for the first time in this game, can start to play out from the back. Forward they come towards halfway. picked up by Regan Slater, but there was nobody on for him further forward. Tried to use Jason Lakilo, but he'll content himself with going all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's Ryan Alsop tonight. They have chopped and changed so far this season between Ryan Alsop and Matt Ingram. Alsop was the first choice for Cardiff last season, but he started the term injured. Either way, it's Sunderland who have it back on halfway with Ballard. Tries to chip forward over the head of Pritchard. Taken down by Jacob Greaves, or a loop pass out towards Lakilo on halfway. Back to Matty Jacob. Left back again tonight. Highly thought of by manager Liam Rossinia. Says he blocked a loan exit for him earlier in the month. Just wasn't able to block the exit of Scott Twine, who practically played every game before he was recalled by parent club Burnley this week. He's going to spend the rest of the season at Bristol City. Meanwhile, Sunderland have won it back halfway inside the whole half. Neil trying to get a turn in on Tyler Morton, but the Liverpool knee wins it back and the danger is averted. Forward by Greaves, up towards Arzan Tufan, who's halfway inside his own half. Shouts of handball by the home fans, but they go unheeded by the referee, who tonight is Rob Jones. Normally seen in Premier League surroundings. Here's Louis Coyle, 20 yards inside the whole half, coming down the right hand flank. Uses Fabio Carvalho, tries to find the return ball towards Doherty. The pass wasn't neat enough, and Pierre Ekwet can win it back. And he is 20 yards inside his own half. It's a slow start to the game. It's a chilly start to the game. I'm going to say this is going to be in my top 3 chilliest grounds. I'm going to say the ones I've covered in the country. Coldest ground for you, Nicola?
Oldham, Stoke.
Oh no, I don't.
Burnley.
I don't miss my trips to Boundary Park. Does this one have 3 sides? Is there still that kind of empty one at the on the far side? From the
no, there's a nice new stand at the far side as you come out the tunnel. Yeah, but it's still cold.
No, I think Victoria Park, Hartlepool might be my worst one. Here come Sunderland coming down the left flank. A lovely bit of control by Clark to bring it in field, but the pass doesn't live up to the same level. However, given away. Pritchard bounces back onto it, goes down looking for the free kick into the ire of the home fans. Rob Jones takes one look at it and gives it to Hull. I think he thought that the former Norwich and Huddersfield man went down a little bit easily, but Hull have made no bounds about making a quick start. Out to the left hand side for Lakilo on halfway. Plays deep towards Greaves and eventually back towards the number 17 goalkeeper also. Muted boos there from the away end. I thought I picked up. We can't see the Hull fans. They're up right in the gods away to our left, above the lip of the main stand that myself and Mickey Gray are sat in. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Don't forget, plenty of live football tomorrow across the network. At lunchtime we'll bring you Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. That's a TalkSport exclusive. Rushton Chowdhury, Sam Matherface and Scott Minter. As Greg Doherty comes forward for Hull. First time we've seen him flex their attacking muscles. Gets the crossing to the right hand side looking for the kilo. Header away was by Luco 9. It's still there in the 18-yard box. Ekwa emphatically puts a boot through it and brings it up towards halfway. Bit of a rallying cry from the stands. Coyle coming forward for Hull again. Looks towards the corner of the area. Finds Carvalho. Forced away from goal. Sunderland have 10 men behind the ball. Doherty again. Near side the Hull right. Fabio Carvalho being stood up on the corner of the penalty area. Cuts back towards Regan Slater. Still 30 yards out. Carvalho again. Well, pinned in the corner here by Sunderland, but still holding on to the ball. The criticism of this season is that they've done not much with it when they have had long spells of possession, and they've given this one away. Joe Bellingham goes down, and this time it will be a free kick to Sunderland, and after 6 minutes it's 0-0.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 sides in front of us that are still basically trying to work each other out. They've looked quite comfortable on the ball in possession until they get into that final third. Sunderland have been a bit scrappy on a couple of occasions down this left-hand side. Jack Clark giving the ball away, but you can see the intent from Hull. 3 players he had round him, Jack Clark, and if that happens throughout the whole of the game, then there has to be gaps elsewhere on the pitch which you have to try and capitalise on, whereas Hull City just probably had their best move of the game, to be honest, with a lot of possession. But as you said there, Cameron, it's the final third where it all counts.
Might be a break on here for Sunderland. Into the centre circle goes Dan Neil. He's got options to the left and right. Looks up to his right. In the end it is. Mike Jensen-Seal find a cross in here. Cuts it backwards. And there's pressure on Dan Neil as he tries to turn. He's looked up and found Pritchard 30 yards out. Crowd shouts to him to shoot. Loops the ball into the penalty area, but it was too high in the end, and behind it goes for a dead ball. Right idea by Alex Pritchard. Just put a little too much onto the end of it. It was over the head of Joe Bellingham as he got forward and out. For a goal kick it goes. We've had 7 minutes at the Stadium of Light on TalkSport 2. It's Sunderland 0, Hull City 0. Don't forget both sides trying to squeeze their way back into the Championship playoffs. It's Coventry who occupy that last slot. They've got a 5 A goal differential better by 5 than Sunderland, who've won it back 30 yards out from goal. Pritchard crossing towards the back post. Well, that was a mess of Hull's own making. Alex Pritchard was given the ball from an awry clearance 30 yards out, tried to float across to the back post. It was too high though, and out for a goal kick it goes. And that, Mickey Gray, is a let-off the Hull City.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, again, they're trying to play out from the back, and it's Alfie Jones on this occasion. Thinks it's a simple pass over to his left-hand side, and he tries to play it out a little bit too nonchalant for my liking. You've got to grow into a game, but the first thing that you do it precise, make sure you do it right, and the rest of it will follow. And Pritchard, normally in that position, he normally picks his man out. I said before, they've been a bit scrappy in the final third.
Here comes Clark. It's all Sunderland at the moment. He's 40 yards out, coming down the left-hand side. Tries to get a cross in, slaps away off a defensive thigh. It was Jones who got the touch. The cross will come in belatedly, and out for a corner it goes. And there is noise coming from the home fans now, who might just be trying to keep themselves warm. I was told the temperature was going to stay above freezing tonight. I find that hard to believe, but it is 0-0 on a corner to come to the home side at the Stadium of Light. 8.5 minutes gone, and it's Alex Pritchard who lays this one down with his gloved hands, drops it, plays it short towards Clark. Up against Lakilo, trying to stop the cross coming in, but here comes Pritchard on the overlap. Right foot across towards the back post. Might it be held upon the goal line? I think it was the defender who did it, and yes, it will be a corner, this time from the far right-hand side for Sunderland at 0-0.
Well, I actually thought Jack Clark had a better angle to put that ball into the box, but opted to play the overlapping pass to Pritchard, who then had a very difficult angle just to pick one player out of the back stick. Couldn't really get any pace on his cross. Yeah, they've been quite fortunate. They've won a second corner, but I think early on in the game, test out these Hull defenders. Are they really up for the fight tonight? With this weather, we could certainly find out from set pieces.
Here comes the corner then, far side the Sunderland right, game still goalless, outswinger it is, heads go up from both sides, Greaves got it away, lands in the penalty area, might there be a chance to get a cross in from Clark, he does, slams into the body of Alfie Jones and out towards the corner flag, where it is picked up again by the orange shirts of Hull, brought out forward towards Tyler Morton, who's got a bit of trouble on him with 3 red and white shirts bearing down. He tries to get the ball cleared away, manages to get a nick off an oncoming Sunderland player, and out for a throw-in it goes. So coming up to 10 minutes, 0-0. More championship action coming up on the network this weekend. Also at 12:30 here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow, Southampton take their mammoth unbeaten run to Swansea. Commentary of that one from Nigel Adley and Chris Wellamo. And don't forget, of course, Game Day Live comes to you, as always, from 2:30 with Adrian Durham on TalkSport. All the goals as they go in from the EFL. No goals in this one, but a free kick given to Hull. High boot raised, I think it was, by Luco Knight. Instead of free kick 10 yards inside Hull territory. It's taken quickly by Louis Coyle. Captain for the Tigers tonight. Threaded all the way back towards his goalkeeper Allsop. Drops short towards Jones. No pressure on him. There's a steady run from Rusyn, and it will go back to the goalkeeper again. Tempo yet to really get going. Yet to see a proper chance for either side. Forward it comes to Carvalho, just shy of halfway for Hull. Brings it into the feet of Coyle, and already Clark is right on top of him. Forces him back towards his own goal. Hull don't mind that. Happy to hold on to it. And it's Coyle again tight to the touchline, trying to use Carvalho. He's dropping deeper and deeper, isn't he, Fabio Carvalho, to try and get something going?
Well, he is coming. I think he wants to get involved in the game a little bit more, because he's been isolated in the first 10 minutes of the game, and we know how much talent he's got. Look, let's not forget, he's still getting to know his new teammates. They need to know what style he wants to play. Have they got to get the ball to his feet, or have they got to get it from down the sides where he can run 1v1 situations and cause a threat? Because we certainly know he can do that. But the way that Hull City play, it's patient, isn't it? They play around at the back, and, centre forwards and number 10s, if you like, are standing still for such a long period of time. They've got to get the ball up to their forward players a little bit quicker.
Those are the words of Mickey Gray on TalkSport 2. 11.5 minutes gone, still 0-0. Sunderland had a free kick just inside the Hull half after Clark was tricked by Greg Doherty, but they've used it conservatively to go back towards Anthony Patterson. Drops it short into the feet of 09. Hooks it over halfway towards Rusyn. If there is any player on the pitch who I didn't expect to be wearing gloves, it would be the Ukrainian, but he is, as are most of them. He plays it deep into his own defence. Forward comes Ballard this time, the rightmost of that centre-back pairing. He uses Sealt to is himself a centre-back as well, but it's a problem area at the moment, isn't it, for Michael Beale? Dennis Sirkin looks like he's going to be out for a bit longer, and of course they've lost Niall Huggins.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think you have to credit Trey Hume. I think at times, he wants to play a lot further up the field, but playing as a left-back tonight is always difficult at times when when you're used to that balance of being over on the right hand side, because when he wants to get into that final third, he's always trying to work it onto his stronger foot. He's tried it on a couple of occasions so far. He does really well. His energy levels are fantastic, but needs to do better.
And so Alex Pritchard, he's wild and alive, coming forward to the 18-yard box. He goes for a shot. It's the first one of the game, but it's a weak one. Left-footed, never really got his boot through it, and he rolls it harmlessly in the end into the hands of Allsop. But he had a lot of room there, Alex Pritchard, to bundle forward. No tackle was forthcoming. Managed to roll his way in front of Jones and Greaves, the centre-backs, but never really got any power behind it. And it was an easy stop for the goalkeeper. So 13 minutes gone on TalkSport 2, and it's 0-0.
And we did talk about Pritchard playing over on that right-hand side, but he did pick the ball up in that centre circle, drove towards the edge of the 18-yard area. Player full of confidence as well. You expect more.
Hume forward towards Joe Bellingham, who's picked it up tight towards the corner flag, locked in a battle with the defender, and Alfie Jones has got the better of him. Plays it back into the heart of his penalty area, and it was a risky ball played by Tyler Morton. The cross is back four. You won't find that in a coaching manual, but he's got it away. Here comes Lakilo on halfway, bundled down to ground by Jensen Seal. Well, he went down onto the turf, did Lakilo, put his hand on the ball. Referee says thank you very much. That's a free kick to Sunderland on halfway.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a soft one from Rob Jones there, giving that free, because I think he wants the game to flow a little bit more, Cameron. It's been a little bit stop-start. It's scrappy. You can see there's a few murmurs in the crowd already. Everybody's expecting opportunities. Well, they're few and far between at the moment, and I think the quicker the game gets going into a flow, the better it's going to be for both sides. So stay on your feet, stay strong, and let's just let the referee just let the game flow.
Ekra picks the ball out towards Hume. He thought he controlled it near side the Sunderland left, but it's sneaked over the whitewash in front of the technical area of Michael Beale. And out for a Hull City throw. It's 0-0 between the Black Cats and the Tigers. Heard this one referred to as the Championship Feline Derby by a colleague from local radio earlier. I'm not sure about that one. Here comes Lakilo, far side of the left for Hull. 30 yards from the corner flag. And the orange shirts are starting to fall in this wintry game. Back over their own halfway line though, up into their own half I should say, to pick out Alfie Jones. He'll start again. Gets his head up, looks for a pass, plays it into Morton, but again it's stop-start, it's back to the centre-back. 10 men behind the ball again for Sunderland. Long route one ball, looked up towards Ozan Tufan. He's seen very little of it, and he didn't see any of it there. It was whipped away by Dan Ballard. Sunderland are going to let that run for their own throwing. 20 yards inside their own half. 15 minutes gone in this EFL Championship. Grueler with two sides on the fringes of the playoffs. Remains goalless as we move on in this January night. And speaking of January, we're 2/3 through the window. No incomings yet for Sunderland, Mickey.
Yeah, it's quite bizarre, isn't it? I think if you want to try and fight for one of those playoff positions, as they're obviously trying to do tonight, I think they need strengthening. There's no question of that. There's more speculation of players leaving rather than coming through the door, and that's it's alarming, really. Anthony Patterson, I think there's been talk about him. I do think he will stay, maybe as an understudy to Alisson at Liverpool. Jack Clark, speculation, and Pritchard, I think, to Birmingham as well. So we want to try and keep your best players, but you also want to add to it to give you a better chance of finishing in that top six.
Louis Coyle in trying to avoid Jack Clark down the flank has run it out of place, so it's a throw-in at 0-0 on halfway to Sunderland. And yeah, there's been a few linkages on the rumour mill these last few days. Alex Pritchard, a move away, was talked about him linking up maybe with former Sunderland boss Tony Mowbray at Birmingham. Even heard him linked with Turkey in Major League Soccer. Anthony Patterson, of course, as well, with Premier League interest. Always feel it's better for a goalkeeper to be playing regularly, though, especially when he's got himself into prime form with England under 23s, that kind of thing, and he's being noticed, and he's very well respected in the pro circuit.
No, absolutely, and I think this is where you learn your trade, isn't it? There's no better place in the Championship, week in, week out. And I'm sure that move will come eventually for Anthony Patterson somewhere down the line, because he's a wonderful goalkeeper. But you can imagine the amount of experience he's getting for himself at the moment. It's just key. There's no doubt about it. And I do hope he stays, and I'm sure he will.
Well, we've got the first yellow card of the night, and it's an unexpected one. It was a routine free kick for Sunderland just shy of halfway. Joe Bellingham was trying to take it, and Ozan Tufan stood on the ball. Referee comes across, and he's not going to suffer fools gladly tonight, Rob Jones, because he's whipped out a caution. So the Turkey international goes into the book, and we're underway again at 0-0. 17 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Here comes Troy Hume, near side the Sunderland left, up the line towards Clark, who dives in ahead of Coyle. Coyle then lunges in on him and brings him down to the ground. It will be a free kick, and Sunderland are keen to get going again. Only had the one sight of goal so far. It came to Pritchard with a weak shot into the hands of the goalkeeper. He picks it up 30 yards out, tries to play it down the channel for Rusyn, but it was a bit too much pace behind that ball, and Rusyn was tracked, I think, by Alfie Jones anyway. Don't think he would have got anything on it, and it's out for a dead ball. So 0-0 it remains. Temperature is only going downwards. These two sides will hope they are on the up. Aspirations of the Premier League. What's the feeling around the camp at the moment, Mickey? Around the city, what's the thought? Is it seen as a likelihood? Is that the benchmark, or is it still really a possibility with a young squad more than a probability?
Well, I think when you've over-exceeded last season and got yourself into the playoffs, then the expectations rise, don't they? At any football club, and there's no different for Sunderland, I have to say. And I think come the end of the season, I think that's where they would like to be, there or thereabouts in those player positions. And when you've got a young side like Sunderland have, then nobody wants to play against them because the energy levels are always going to be there. But I think even from what we've seen tonight, there's signs, isn't there, of a little bit of sloppiness just creeping into the game. On a few occasions, Pritchard, who's one of the most experienced players out there, he's just overpassed a couple of times, and that's the type of things that in games where the game's not going your way, you look for that little bit of spark.
Here comes Clark coming forward for Sunderland down the left-hand flank. He's gone up against Coyle, and he trips Coyle as he tries to get into the penalty area. Thought the fullback did really well there, got in between man and ball, and was going to shepherd it out for a dead ball. In any event, it will be a free kick inside the whole penalty area to the defensive side, and it remains after 19 minutes 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good battle, that, isn't it? Jack Clark and Lewis Coyle playing right back for Hull City. I think Jack Clark's really found it difficult to get in behind him. He's run at him 3 or 4 times, and I have to say full credit to Lewis Coyle. He's stood his ground. He's been solid in his defending. When he's got the opportunity to get over the halfway line himself, he's done so. He's made a couple of 2v1 situations down this right-hand side for himself and Greg Doherty. And it looks like it's the outlet for Hull City, because at the moment they just can't get the ball to Carvalho. They can't get Tufan involved in the game, which is why he got frustrated and got himself a yellow card. So yeah, it's very scrappy, I have to say, and the crowd need to get involved in the game. The atmosphere is a bit flat in this stadium tonight.
Sometimes you get that, I think, don't you, with a midweek game? It does tend to happen. If there's ever an exception, it tends to be on a Friday night, but I don't think the conditions are helping much. Coyle is waiting to take this throw in for Hull City, deep inside his own half. In fact, he's level with his own penalty area. It's 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Still waiting for Coyle to launch this ball forward. He's trying to bring in men short, is the Hull captain. Forward comes Luke Coyle with the ball, and up towards halfway where Fabio Carvalho gets his head on it, but it skips off the crown of his head back into Sunderland hands, and in fact the feet of Anthony Patterson. Both goalkeepers in blue tonight. Still beggars belief that can happen with the 4 different kits that teams seem to have in the EFL, but there we go. Free kick to Sunderland as well, just outside the penalty area. It's 09 who's gone down in trying to clear it up against Carvalho. Picks himself back up to his feet. Always going to hurt on a wintry night like this one as well. And he'll have a free kick on the edge of his penalty area. Listening to Sunderland versus Hull in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Free kick is taken backwards by Trey Hume. 09 looks to be fine, and he's whipped the ball across his own penalty area to bring in Dan Ballard. Here comes Seal, halfway inside his own half, 0-0. Back into the defence again. In fact, it's struggling now, Sunderland, to get out, and it's the pattern we've seen from both sides so far.
Well, it's a very good high press from Hull City, I have to say, from the forward players. You're always just looking for that one player who's not doing his job right.
Given away by Sunderland, 45 yards out from their own goal. Picked up by Lakilo, 35 yards out. Good ball to him from Tufan, but then he was closed down. Poleaxed by Dan Ballard, who got right on top of him. Works that ball away from danger. And Joe Bellingham has come back as well to help out with the defensive effort. First bit of danger in this last minute or so for the Sunderland backline. That makeshift backline as they deal with ongoing injuries. The ball is dropped out short towards Hume. Left back. Forced back to his own goal again, and now we're starting to see the press from Hull. Fabio Carvalho putting some pressure on Anthony Patterson, who clears out unheeded, but it's a slip from Seal far side the Sunderland right. Out below its boot it goes, and it's a throw-in to Hull City. 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Well, I talked about the changes I wanted to see from Sunderland under Michael Beale, Campbell. Well, I'm yet to see it. Look, I'll give them a bit of an excuse. It's a very cold evening, I have to say, and I think that's maybe why certain players are making mistakes. But you've got to try and run through that. You've got to get yourself warm as quick as you possibly can and up to 100% in the game. And it's just been really sloppy when the ball's gone out to both fullbacks, Trey Hume and obviously Silt coming in on that right-hand side. They've not really got themselves over that halfway line. Certainly Silt as that right back, and I think it's something that they have to try and work on, because you've got to try and work with your midfield players and make those 2v1 situations down the flanks if you possibly can.
Here comes Pritchard on halfway, still goalless in this one. Trying to move the ball forward into the attacking third, but he's stopped by Tufan, has to go back into his own half. Here's Bellingham on halfway, flicks it down the line towards Seal, good back heel by him, brings in Bellingham again, but then when he tried to bring Rusyn through and flick him over the top, his pass only found an orange shirt and it's cleared away by Hull City. Ballard 10 yards inside his own half for the hosts at the Stadium of Light, picks it up to the left hand side. Here comes Clark, threading the line and trying to get in between the lines here. Sunderland, the offside flag has gone up as well against Trey Hume, who had made a diagonal run between the orange shirted bodies, but flag is up on the far side and still waiting for this one to get going really. 23 minutes in, no score. And don't forget there's more live football to come your way, and hopefully there might be a few more goals and a bit more goal mouth action in those ones. Don't forget playoff chasing Norwich travel to West Brom tomorrow. That's your 3pm commentary right here on TalkSport 2. That's with Ian Dancer and Dean Ashton. There's 2 live commentaries for you on Sunday too on the TalkSport network. Leeds v Preston is at midday. That's a TalkSport 2 exclusive, followed by Man City versus Liverpool in the WSL. And Faker Rullers will take the Sunday session over on TalkSport. Coyle going to take a throw for Hull 30 yards from the corner flag, and an attacking area that's seen very little Hull play so far. He drops the ball up the line and that looked scarily like a foul throw as to try and find Doherty. Whipped away in any event by Hume. Tufan will pick it up 35 yards out. Brings in Lakilo for Hull City. There's a man on the overlap here that he could use. It's Matty Jacob. Lakilo's going to go himself and Pritchard jumps into the challenge, wins the ball back, and Silk tries to play him away. Given away though. Tufan 30 yards out. Bringing in Carvalho. 9 men behind the ball for Sunderland. The cross comes in deep from Lewis Coyle, but it's too deep and always swinging. I think he was off balance there, Coyle, when he hits it. And more positive coming forward from Hull City, but we go on in search of a goal for these 2 championship playoff chasers. 0-0.
Well, Hull City have been helped out by fullbacks or players in the Sunderland shirt by being really sloppy in their own defensive third as well. I mean, Jensen he's not really started the game well as a right back, just given an easy 5-yard ball away, and it just puts Hull City on the front foot again. I think what's helped the home side this evening in the first 23-24 minutes of this game is that it's just been really sloppy, really scrappy from both sides. It's more of a battle in that central area, and it needs a spark. I don't know where it's going to come from, because the talented players that I'm seeing out there are just not able to get on the ball. Only Pritchard's really the one who's standing out, but even his quality's been poor so far in the game.
Yes, it hasn't been a classic, as we welcome listeners from TalkSport. 0-0 in this one between Sunderland and Hull City. 25 minutes gone. Both sides looking to make inroads back into the top 6 in the Championship, and Sunderland can do that with a point. But so far we've seen very little in the way of attacking activity. Sunderland have it at the back with Ballard, halfway inside his own half. Looking for a pass to bring in Equa. The side's better of it though. It was covered, the passing lane, by Fabio Carvalho, so goes left instead and brings in Trey Hume on his touchline, and then once again it's the ball back to the goalkeeper, and we're still waiting for that catalyst, aren't we, Mickey? Just anything that's going to bring this game to life.
Yeah, something. You know, a player picking up the ball and maybe taking on somebody who's going to do something out of the ordinary, because at the moment it's just basically players playing in their similar positions where they need to be, but not wanting to be that individual player who's going to make that mistake. Well, why not be the player who's going to make the difference? Well, at the moment I just don't know where that's going to come from either side.
Here comes Lakilo. Could it be him to be the difference on his return to the side? He's played back towards halfway again. I feel like that's the only phrase I'm able to say when anyone gets down the wings in this game. Goes back into the defence and brings in the goalkeeper. That's what we've seen unfold from Hull City again. Here is Greaves, left centre back, into the feet of Jacob just inside his own half. Pritchard thinks about a press, forces him into the centre circle, and back it goes once more. Greaves, the deepest lying orange shirt, brings Pritchard out of the way and then plays in Jacob on halfway. Still goalless on TalkSport 2. Back to Jacob Greaves once again, and now it's Hull's turn to pass from left to right and back again all the way along the back four, looking for any avenue they can find through this Sunderland team. Ekwa in the centre circle, trying to turn into space and keeps the ball away. Brought down under control by Fabio Carvalho on halfway. Turning back into his own defence, and I imagine he feels a long way from RB Leipzig now, where he spent the first half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play very much over there, did he?
It was one star, wasn't it, in the Bundesliga?
So he'd be obviously, I mean, he'd be so excited to be out there on a football pitch again, because a player like him, with his ability, you want to see him week in, week out, whether it's in the Premier League or over Europe or playing Championship football, but he's got so much ability. But I think you've got to try, if you're going to bring a player in like him, you've got to try and play to his strengths. Get the ball to his feet, get him on the half turn, and let him show everybody what he's all about.
And there's calls from the away end now. We can't see them, but we can hear them. They're fed up with Hull City passing around the back four, and they want the ball to come forward. Here's Morton. Well, he's slightly in front of the back four, but he's got 3 red and white shirts around him. And you can't forget as well, Hull City at 0-0 here tonight. They're shackled by injury, so they've lost Aaron Connolly. He was injured in a clash with Angus Gunn, given a concussion in the loss to Norwich. In fact, there's a long ball forward over the top here, looking forward towards Tufan, who tries to turn, but it's a brilliant tackle in the 18-yard box to win that back by Sealt. Out towards the far side it goes, picked up by Greg Doherty, trying to turn into a crossing position. Uses Coyle, still attacking here with Hull. Coyle again, 30 yards from the corner flag, but Sunderland have got enough bodies back, and it's 10 men behind the ball again, and they've forced Hull City to go back into the centre circle. They'll try once more. Greaves plotting a pass, but it was a loose one. Won momentarily by Slater, but then forced into a mistake by Neil, and again it's scrappy, again it's fragmented.
Certainly is. I mean, that's a big worry. I say they look strong down this right-hand side hole.
Well, here comes Coyle here, trying to get into the attacking third. Coyle 1-2 into the penalty area and forces a good save out of Anthony Patterson, and it was too easy that time. We've been waiting for something to happen. Lewis Coyle bundling forward, found Ozan Tufan in the 18-yard box, quick 1-2 with him, got himself back into the end of it. Wasn't the cleanest hit on the shot, but it still forced a decent save out to Patterson. Bobbled out of his hands at the first time of asking, scoops it up on the second, and it remains on TalkSport 2, Sunderland 0, Hull 0.
Well, the best player on the park, and that's saying something, has been Lewis Coyle, defensively against Jack Clarke, but obviously offensively as well, and he's got himself into a really good position. I think he was just losing his balance, the full-back, as that ball was played back to him, a little give and go, and he couldn't get enough pace on it to get it anywhere near past Anthony Patterson. But full credit to him, he's out there, he's trying to make something happen, because at the moment it's really sloppy, and we're talking about full-backs being the better players.
Yeah, 0-0 on TalkSport 2, just coming up to the half hour. Ball is down on the turf for a Sunderland free kick just inside the Hull half. Just waiting for anything, any moments of imagination, of spark in this one. It's a cagey affair. There was nothing to separate the two on Boxing Day. Jack Clarke goal, well, there was something, a Jack Clarke goal, but that was just about it. Could have gone either way. Big win for Sunderland, and as Michael Beale's tenure moves along after 5 league games, still lots of questions to be asked. We've seen that there's no mercy given to EFL managers. Troy Deeney going after 6 games at Forest Green, not suggesting that the same is going to happen to Michael Beale. There have been wins peppered in and around. They've lost their last 2 in all competitions, but they've won 3 of the last 4 here in the Championship of Sunderland, and they've got the ball again with Jack Clarke up against Doherty. Got past him, and then Louis Coyle is forced to come out and clear. Gets a bit of a knock there, Louis Coyle, as well as Clarke came through. I think it was momentum more than anything, but crucially he got a nick off the red and white shirt with the ball, and it will be a Hull City throw-in in their right back position. 31 minutes gone. 0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Cameron Pope and the former Sunderland fullback Nicky Gray on commentary. And coming up later on after this, don't forget, stay with us for PGA Tour Live on TalkSport 2, the American Express from California. As Rooston picks it up 35 yards out with his back to goal. Gets a gratuitous bounce off Alfie Jones, and there's a man cleaned out on the edge of the penalty area. Advantage has been played. Neil with a cross over the head of Pritchard, and then good awareness by Matty Jacob to chest the ball back into the hands of his goalkeeper. But all the while there, Nazari Rooston was cleaned out on the edge of the penalty area. Referee allowed the play to continue. The yellow card has come out. I think it's gone to Coyle. Yes, it is Louis Coyle, the captain. A lot of things to break down there, Mickey, but the salient fact is it's still 0-0.
Yeah, well, it was another good opportunity for Sunderland to break through, and Rooson just tried to flick the ball on beyond Louis Coyle, but then the ball eventually just ricochets into the air and the two players come together. Look, there was no malice in it whatsoever, but their faces clashed with each other. I saw Rooson go to ground. It looked a nasty one, and thankfully he's back on his feet. Louis Coyle, I don't know if he really should have got a yellow card there. I've got to be completely honest with you. I mean, he couldn't really get himself out of the way, but yet again, it's scrappy. I mean, we're far enough into this game now, 32 minutes. Both sides have had one shot each. I think the one from Coyle probably better than Pritchard's, but other than that, I don't know. You need to see more in the Championship. You've got two sides here who are trying to fight to get into playoff positions. You're not seeing enough.
And Rooson looked like he was physically trying to fight Coyle there as Coyle tried to shepherd the ball out of play. I thought the Ukrainian clipped the back of the whole captain's legs, but the ball has gone dead. It will be a Hull throw-in. We've had 32 and a half minutes in this Championship game, and it's not been a thriller, put it that way, on this Friday night. Coyle is still waiting to take the throw-in. He's just beyond the edge of his own penalty area. Near side the Tigers' right. Throws down the line. Hume is the first man to get to it, but he flicks it backwards over his own head. O'Neill has better luck in finding Ballard. He's the deepest lying Sunderland outfield player, and he goes back towards Patterson, who under pressure from Fabio Carvalho clears out towards halfway. Heads go up, picked out by Matty Jacob, Hull left back, looking to get the chip down the line to bring in Lokilo. Pritchard had other ideas, got a cross, but in making the challenge has rolled the ball out of play, and it will be a throw-in to Hull City. It's needs some inspiration, might need a touch of individual brilliance, anything to get it going. Had a chance apiece for either side. Alex Pritchard's tame shot, having fought his way through the defence into the hands of Ryan Allsop, and then Louis Coyle with a 1-2 with Ozan Tufan that opened up a good shot from a tight angle that was well saved by Anthony Patterson. And Coyle's been released again here by Ozan Tufan. Came up down the right hand side, passed in field, and the chip ball over the top, but Patterson was expecting it, read it well into the hands of the Sunderland goalkeeper. And after 34 minutes on TalkSport 2, it's still 0-0.
Well, full credit again to Louis Coyle. Little give and go, wanting to get into the opposition's half. He's not frightened of doing the overlap and run, which I absolutely love as a fullback. He's got energy to burn. He wants to get involved in the game. He's trying to make something happen for his team. Didn't quite come off for him this time, but absolutely fantastic. And I hope that his teammates are starting to have a look at him now and say, well, he's running around. He wants to win this football match. I think we should start doing that ourselves.
Yeah, it's a run that you might yourself have been proud of once upon a time, Nicky Great.
Absolutely.
Fullback for Sunderland in England. Meanwhile, Sunderland are penned inside their own half again. It's Dan Ballard splaying across to the left to find 09. Still goalless this game. Jack Clark brought in on halfway, goes inside, Doherty goes down looking for the foul. Doherty feigns innocence, and Hull have been allowed to continue with the ball. Here, 45 yards out from goal at the Stadium of Light, and there's a yanking tackle by Pierre Ekwa on Regan Slater, and it looks like Ekwa might be about to go into the book because he's been called back by Rob Jones. Either way, it's a free kick to Hull City 50 yards out. Well, we've seen a yellow card apiece already. Not apiece even. In fact, it's Tufan and Coyle who've been booked. He's taking no prisoners so far, is the referee, Rob Jones?
Yeah, I think Ekwa's he's a lucky boy there, isn't he? I think he was very fortunate to stay out of the referee's book, because it was a clear shove. I think it was Tyler Morton who he pulled back, and what that does now, it gives Hull City an opportunity. Look, it's quite far out, 60-70 yards, but it gives them the opportunity to whip a dangerous ball into the box. You can see the line of Sunderland, 6 or 7 players all communicating with each other, and this is where Hull have got to try and break them down with a bit of quality.
Here comes the free kick 45 yards out, and well, if we wanted a bit of quality, it wasn't that. The free kick was played straight into the feet of Jack Clark, who's probably the one player on the pitch you don't want to give the ball straight to, with green space to run into. And here he comes, making full advantage up towards the corner of the penalty area, trying to get a cross in. He's been hounded out by the body of Tyler Morton, who's forced him backwards to find Ekwa. 35 yards out, plays it back towards Ballard, still a decent distance between him and the goal. Flicked out to the right hand side, deep cross comes in by Sealth. It's found Clark at the back post, but couldn't really get a touch on it properly. It was in his feet, then it was out of it, and by the time he'd righted himself, it was cleared away for a Sunderland throw. 0-0
Amazing, isn't it, when you show a bit of positivity that the crowd start getting behind you. Decent enough ball in from Seat. Yeah, maybe you've had a little bit too much height and pace on it, but Jack Clark was just unfortunate. Didn't bounce well enough for him, and gives Hull the opportunity to now break themselves if they can get themselves out of a sticky situation.
Well, Doherty tried to clear it, only found Equa, and it's Clark on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Pritchard, wraps his right boot around it, and it's headed away by Greaves in the 18-yard box. Well, we saw him hit one from exactly that kind of range, Mickey and I, on New Year's Day against Preston. The crowd called for him to shoot. He did so, and he found the bottom corner. And I'm going to hazard a guess and say it was on target, but firmly into the body of a defender. And here comes Clark, 45 yards out for Sunderland at 0-0. We are edging towards half-time. We've got 37 minutes on my stopwatch at the moment. And here is Joe Bellingham, far side of the Sunderland right, flicking down the line to find Seal on the overlap. Trying to cut it between players in that midfield bank of four for Hull City at the moment, to no avail. Had to go back to go forward, and now they bring in Clark near side the Sunderland left. Flicks the ball down the line. This might be an opportunity for Hume to get across him. Goes back to Clark on the corner of the penalty area. No way through just yet. Ball flicked up over the top by O'Nien, headed away in the penalty area by Jones. It's found Equa 35 yards out, who goes down under the challenge of Ozan Tufan. Referee was uninterested. Sunderland still have it at 0-0. Equa, 45 yards out, tries to play a diagonal ball, but he hits into no man's land in the end. It was neither a shot on target nor into the path of Jack Clark, and out it goes for a dead ball. It's Sunderland 0, Hull City 0 on TalkSport 2.
Well, over the years, from what I've seen in Championship football, Cameron, is the quicker you move the ball into better areas, the better opportunities you're going to create for your team. It's too slow, and I'm talking about both sides here. Hull City, they love playing the ball around at the back, and they wait for an opportunity or one of the Sunderland players to make a wrong run, which then opens up gaps, but they can't get their forward players involved in the game. And you could say similar about Sunderland as well. It's too slow, it's languid, the players just want to be static and play in positions. Well, you've got to work harder to make space for yourself. This has been really poor, I have to say, from both sides, and I expected a heck of a lot more tonight. And
it's a poor ball from Matty Jacob down the flank as well to find Lakilo. It was the right idea, but horrible execution. He swerved it right out of play, and Sunderland have possession at the back again. And you think tonight of all nights, in the middle of January, there'd be encouragement to move it around a bit quicker. Just keep warm, lads.
Well, the other thing for me, Cameron, is right, it's a Friday night game. The rest of the Championship will be having a look at this game. Sunderland, can they creep into the playoffs, or Hull City? Who's going to be the better side? I don't think that anybody will fear playing against these two teams from what we've seen so far. Look, I'm sure it'll change as the game goes on.
Showing with Alex Pritchard wins it back just inside his own half and tries to play it through the middle. Lucien and Bellingham chased it, but the clearance has gone away from Allsop straight towards Pritchard. Beats one, beats two. He's hacked down to ground, and well, a free kick for Sunderland 30 yards out. We're going to see a yellow card come out again, and Tyler Morton becomes the fourth Hull City player to go into the book. So that's Doherty, Tufan, Morton and Coyle, all on yellow cards. We've only played 39 minutes, and it's a free kick to Sunderland at 0-0. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Mickey Gray alongside me, Cameron Pope. Still waiting for a goal. Could it come here from this free kick? And that was all brought about by the marauding run of Alex Pritchard.
Positivity from Alex Pritchard, taking two or three Hull City players out, and in the end that challenge had to come, didn't it, from Tyler Morton? Absolutely crazy. But this is a good opportunity. It looks like Pritchard stood over this one as well, so it gives them an opportunity. Is it too far out for that strike on goal? Maybe borderline whether he can take this on or not, or he might have to flick one towards the back stick.
Just the one goal this season for Alex Pritchard, but it was scored, albeit from open play, from this kind of range. It's 35 yards out, just right of centre. I can see 3 and 4 men in the wall for Hull City. That's right on the edge of the 18-yard box, and this calm that's fallen over the Stadium of Light. Here he goes, Alex Pritchard plays the ball short towards the edge of the penalty area. Seal with the cross in. Oh, you can see what he was trying to do, but he couldn't pull it back. He hit the most densely populated part of the area with Hull players, and then rolls it into the hands of goalkeeper Ryan Allsop. So it's 0-0. We're in the 41st minute on TalkSport 2.
Well, look, I like the creativity of things from set pieces, right? Yeah, of course, try something different, but if you're going to try something different, then you've got to make sure that you convert and you make the conviction of it a lot better.
That's been given away. The loose pass towards Fabio Carvalho, picked up by Dan Neil, tries to play, in fact Luke O'Nien it was, tried to play a zipping ball through the middle, and the target was Alex Pritchard, but Hull have recovered in numbers, and out comes Allsop to gather on his penalty spot. He's been the busier of the two goalkeepers, but I think the best save has gone to Anthony Patterson from that Louis Coyle effort after half an hour of 1-2 with Ozan Tufan that played the right back into the penalty area, but not really seeing anything that suggests the goal is on the cards. But that can change. Here's Tufan in the centre circle. Sunderland half of the field. Brings in Lakilo, far side, the whole City left. He's got Matty Jacob on the overlap, but rather than play the 1-2, he goes back towards halfway. Here's Tyler Morton, and deeper to Alfie Jones in the centre circle. Rusyn trying to challenge him forward to Carvalho, now coiled tight to the touchline, and it's the same passage of play again and again and again, but for that one time, well, the second time actually as well, when the ball went too long, but when Coyle has broken through the lines. Otherwise it's been pass it forward, closed off, have to go back to halfway.
Yeah, a lot of possession, which is obviously great for the confidence, but I think eventually, Cameron, you've got to do something with it. Hull City, they keep the ball at the back, as I mentioned before, and when you break through those lines, that's where you want your forward players, the ones who are supposed to have that little bit of quality to maybe just give you that little bit of a spark in the game. But unfortunately for themselves, it's not really worked for them. I know they came close with that Louis Cole opportunity where he couldn't really get enough pace on his shot. You don't really want your fullbacks being the person who's on the end of something in the 18-yard box. You know, you want your Carvalho on the ball, you want Tufan, who certainly knows where the back of the net is.
He certainly does. 7 goals this season for us and Tufan, but it's Sunderland who are in possession. Well, big tackle was made there by Regan Slater. He's not one of the midfielders who's on a yellow card. He is now. So he goes into the book. 5 yellow cards for Hull City. They're really racking them up now. It was a promising move as well, coming through the middle for Sunderland. And he got across Slater. He thought, hang on, this is the only way I'm getting back here. Gets the trip in. And it's a free kick to Sunderland and another caution for Hull City. And okay, we say that maybe too much is made of cautions, but when you've got a right back, 2 centre backs, your right winger and your striker, that's a lot to be contending with before half time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's certainly too many yellow cards going into the remainder of the game, and I'm sure it's a concern for Liam Rosini. How many is it you're allowed in the game as a team?
Cautions, I think you're okay, aren't you? But it's red cards. You can only have 4. 5 is where it ends. I've never seen that though in my working life. Here's Ekwa, 35 yards out, tries to get a shot in, only hits Fabio Carvalho. It rebounds by way of the referee back towards 09. He's 45 yards out. Sunderland coming forward with 2 minutes to go before half time. Still 0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Ekwa, far side the Sunderland right. Joe Bellingham turns and receives the pass. He's more central. It's still no looking getting it forward. Maybe that'll change for Neil. He's coming down the left-hand side this time. Back into the centre of the park it goes. Ballard. Now Ekwa. Passing in sideways lines. The Sunderland now forward towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's the same story again. Everyone behind the ball for Hull. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Here is Dan Neal. 35 yards out near side the Sunderland left. Brings in Clark. If anyone can turn this game, it's him. Up against Coyle, the 2 best players in the pitch so far, I would say. Forced backwards to 09. Long crossfield ball up towards Sealt, right edge of the penalty area. Cuts it back towards Pritchard. But he's probably the smallest man in terms of stature on the field, and he was easily beaten in the air by Regan Slater. Ball back in the hands of Sunderland. Final minute of normal time in this first period. Trey Hume halfway inside Hull territory. Picks out Clark just shy of the touchline. Cuts inside, chased by Coyle. He's one of those men on the yellow cards who couldn't jump in, just forces him back and out towards halfway it goes. Forward to Pritchard into the area. Steele, 1-2, Pritchard puts it round the post. And he's ended up on the deck, Alex Pritchard, stretching every muscle in his body to try and get something on that lovely bit of 1-2 play. Alex Pritchard got back to it on the edge of the 6-yard box, couldn't really get enough on the finish, and it never looked like troubling the goal of Ryan Alsop. And after just coming up to 45 minutes on TalkSport 2, it's Sunderland 0, Hull 0. Yeah,
it was an excellent move, wasn't it, from a Sunderland perspective, working the ball really well over to that right-hand side, and that man Alex Pritchard involved yet again. You can see so clever, he's always on a half turn. He's not the quickest player in the world, but that little play out to the right-hand side, didn't admire his pass, he wanted to get back into the box and better contact with his strike. You never know, he just has to get it on target.
We've had 1 minute signified, and that's to the surprise of nobody. It's been a slow burner, this one at the Stadium of Light. Goal kick goes long from Hull's Alsop, picked out by Nazarou Rusyn in the centre circle, goes down under the challenge of Greaves, and then the ball is cleared long by Matty Jacob. And the first man onto it is Ballard with Tufan over his shoulder. Does well there, Ballard, to move it away from the Turkey man. Brings in 09 in the edge of his penalty area. Round of applause from somebody in the press gallery in front of us in a rather fetching red and white Sunderland beanie hat. Here comes Jack Clark over halfway. Final seconds of the half. Can he make it count? Slips the ball down the line, trying to find a way through towards Neil. But again, this time it was Jacob Greaves who got across, and Hull have done well at soaking up those kind of opportunities. Just got himself between man and ball and watched it back into the hands of Allsop. And with the referee's whistle, that is the end to one of the worst halves of football I think I've seen in the EFL this year. Two sides trying to play their way back into the top six, back into contention to reach the Premier League. Well, they've largely cancelled each other out in this first half. The half-time score on TalkSport 2 from the Stadium of Light is Sunderland 0, Hull City 0. No, never mind warming up the supporters. How about warming up the commentators? We're underway in the second half at the Stadium of Light. Cameron Pope and Mickey Gray on TalkSport 2. And well, it hasn't been a classic so far, but that can change. It is Hull City who get us underway in this second half. Sunderland 0, Hull 0. No changes, as Mickey said, for either side coming into this second half. So I'll give you a whistle-stop tour of the teams. Patterson in goal for the Black Cats. Seal, Ballard, O'Nien and Hume at the back. Neil and Ekwar in defensive midfield behind Pritchard. Bellingham and Clark, the wide men. Rusin is the striker up top. As for Hull, Allsop, who has the ball now in his 18-yard box. He's the goalkeeper for the Tigers. Jacob, Greaves, Jones and Coyle, the back four behind Slater and Morton. Carvalho in front of them. Lakilo and Doherty, the wide men. And Tufan leading the line. And Mickey, well, something's got to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has. Somebody's got to spark this game into life. You hope that the crowd can get themselves involved in the second half, but the only way that's going to happen is if they basically see players running around and showing the effort that they need to show in this second 45 minutes. I think all the onus is on Sunderland to take the game to Hull City. Hull City can keep the ball, they can have a lot of possession. Yes, at times they're going to have to break out and maybe try and win the game themselves. But the frustration comes from the supporters, the players, the manager. He's got to try and come up with something at half-time that's going to bring these players into life.
Forward come Hull City over halfway with Louis Coyle, who goes down looking for the free kick. It's not been given. And forward comes Sunderland now. And it's Clark trying to turn in on his right foot. Finds Joe Bellingham, cries him shoot from the home crowd. He's 30 yards out. Rise the challenge of Lakilo well. And then he's beaten to it by Ozan Tufan. And Hull can clear their lines. First scare of the second half. Well, that all was started by Coyle going down on halfway, waiting for the free kick, and it didn't come. I heard it suggested at half-time, Mickey, and we've not seen a rerun of the incident. I've heard it said that his yellow card for his come together with Rusin on the corner of the Hull area, that was a yellow card. Some said it could have been a red. It's suspicion that he's used the elbow. Now, we do have a monitor here at the Stadium of Light. However, it looks like it's been elbowed itself because 80% of the screen is blurred out with a big white blob. So we haven't seen a rerun of it, but I've heard a couple of people, a couple of murmurs saying that it could have been interpreted differently. Meanwhile, Sunderland have won it back. 35 yards out from goal. Still at 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Ekwar, birthday boy this week, but nothing to celebrate for Sunderland so far in this game. More indeed for Hull, who've won it back. 18-yard box, and Greaves who threads it forward, looking for Tufan. Carvalho is wiped out, no advantage. It'll be a free kick, and the yellow card has come out this time, for the first time, for a Sunderland player, and it's Pierre Ekwar who's got it. Well, he's got plenty of cards this week, and that's another one for him. 0-0, 47.5 minutes gone.
Well, he can have no arguments, can he, Pierre Ekwar? Going to ground there, and when you mistime your challenge, then I think you understand that you've got to go in the book. And Rob Jones, he threw a few out, didn't he, in that first half? 5 yellow cards to Hull City. Maybe it's Sunderland's turn now, but yeah, we're just looking for that one player to just do something out of the ordinary, aren't they? It's very organised. You look at two sides in front of us now are organised, don't really want to give too much away. Defensively, I don't think you can have too many qualms about both sides. They've not really had a threat going in behind them, and I think that's what it is. It's a very robotic game, if I could say it that way, Cameron, because players don't want to take that risk.
Robotic is definitely the word to describe this one so far. Coyle, 30 yards out from goal, cuts it back in field for Hull City, bringing in Carvalho. Liverpool loanee goes back to Coyle. Forward comes Morton, another Liverpool man, into Slater, 35 yards out, moving it with purpose now, Hull City. Forward comes Jacob, edge of the area, Fabio Carvalho, moving it too quickly for Sunderland to live with. Cross comes to the back post and it hangs dangerously, but it evades Lakilo. It was just too long in the air going over the crossbar of Patterson, and he was comfortable to leave that, the England under 23 international. And Fulham, I should say, he's right on the borderline for being too old now, but part of that under 23 Euros squad winner we brought to you on the TalkSport Network in the summer. And don't forget, more football on the TalkSport Network coming up. Hopefully most of it will be more entertaining than this, so I'll run through it in a second, because Joe Bellingham has come on the ball in the centre circle, trying to meander his way through the lines. He's got it into the whole half of the field, out to the left hand side. He'll move it for Trey Hume. Clark in a crossing position, up towards the corner of the area. 3 Hull shirts in the way of him making a cross. He's turned onto his right foot, taking him out the equation and crosses to the back post. But he puts it behind Rusyn. And of course, on the way this game has gone, Mickey Gray, it goes out for a throw-in. 0-0.
Yeah, it wasn't a brilliant cross from Jack Clark, but I did like the positivity of now getting or standing up his wide player and chopping back onto his strong right foot. He's done it so many times this season. He's got that quality, and he just needed to whip his right foot a little bit more around the ball there to give Rusyn an opportunity. He'd already made that run, hadn't he, towards the 6-yard box. It was behind him, it was difficult. I think I have to say about that is, Jack Clark's got one player to look at in that 18-yard box. Other midfield players have got to break the neck, they've got to try and help out as much as they can in those forward positions.
Lovely bit of play by Fabio Carvalho to take it on like the top of his thigh, I think it was, and roll and spin away from Ekwa, who then twists him into the way of Joe Bellingham, who has to foul him. And it is a free kick to Hull City, 25 yards inside their own half. It's 0-0 on TalkSport 2. We played 5 minutes of the second half, and so far it's continued in the same vein as the first. Jacob Greaves at centre back for Hull City. Plays it into Alfie Jones and out to the right hand side for Coyle. Into central midfield it goes, and Carvalho, who's dropping deep again, was fouled once more. I make that 3 times now in the second half. He's caught the attention of the Sunderland midfield, and Hull will start again from the back. Forward by Morton up towards halfway. And picked up by Tufan, and then Fabio Carvalho up against Trey Hume, trying to roll him and turn him and find the route in field. Here it is with Morton, still at 0-0. Regan Slater, 35 yards down. Good touch from Jacob. Spins away from Pritchard. Now he's got his back to goal, though. Referee's got caught up in it. Quick 1-2 forward, and the shot over the bar. Well, it came from nothing in the end, but it's careered out for a goal kick. And the 1-2 again has gone through Tufan, who I guess is more of an attacking midfielder, almost playing that false 9 role. And then Slater, he got the shot away after the 1-2, but he placed it over the bar. And there's now a Sunderland man down inside the penalty area. Nothing is happening really in this one at the Stadium of Light. Still waiting for it to get going. And Luke O'Nien, who was down in the 18-yard box, has been helped back up to his feet by Ekwa. And he'll limp back to wait for the short ball to come from the goal kick. And it is going to be short because it's Ballard who's taken it. And then he's done a peculiar thing. He's rolled it back to his goalkeeper. He's then picked the ball up, put it down again, and rolled it to Ballard. And now Hull have got straight on top of him, and Carvalho nearly won it back in the penalty area. Forward comes Seal. He's done a good job of running it out of harm's way. That has to be handball against Lakilo. Blindsided the referee there. He couldn't see it. Hull have gone on with possession. 45 yards out. Tufan. Tight to the left touchline as the Tigers look at it, trying to hook a ball through the middle, and that's where it breaks down. He was looking for Fabio Carvalho. He was doubled up on that by O'Nien and Ekwa, and it's into the hands of the goalkeeper Patterson, and there are murmurings of discontent around the Stadium of Light now. 0-0.
Absolutely, Cameron. They're not enjoying this game tonight, are they? And you just need somebody to show a little bit of improvisation. I think we've seen that from a couple of Hull City players, Slater and Jacob down this left-hand side. Great defending, I have to say, from Luke O'Nien. Last-ditch challenge, but it all came off the back of Hull City, probably with their best move of the game. So some nice football, showing that intent to try and get behind this back line of Sunderland.
Sunderland have it 10 yards inside the Hull City half. It's Ekwa. Carvalho trying to close him down, but moves it out to the left-hand side. Now here's Clark. This is what he does best, running at defences up on the edge of the area. Doherty stood him up well, gets the tackle in with the left boot, and it goes out for a corner to Sunderland. And I make that the first of the second half. We're 8 minutes into the second period, and it's 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, and Alex Pritchard just going across to take this corner, but I like the positivity now of Jack Clark. He's trying to grow into the game. Yes, it hasn't worked out for him yet, but he's picked up the ball on a couple of occasions. He's ran at his full-back, which you want to see more of.
So Pritchard laying the ball down, far side the Sunderland left, ready to whip this one in. Here he comes, in-swinger as well, attacked, it was Coyle I think who got the touch, and he was fouled as he cleared that ball, and referee sees him go down and awards the free kick. Don't think there can be too many complaints, not that Jack Clark pays any attention to that and is straight in the referee's ear, but it will be a free kick to Hull City inside their own half. We've had 8.5 minutes of the second period, and still no change. Free kick is taken short in any event by Allsop. He brings in Alfie Jones, who now injects some pace into it, whips it out to the right hand side looking for Coyle on halfway, plays it down the line for Doherty. 1-2 between those two, and then a familiar pattern ensues. It's back into the Hull half, and after we saw a bit of promise, it's ended up back at the feet of the goalkeeper again.
Yeah, a lot of possession again from Hull City, I have to say, from the corner, which was a poor one this time from Alex Pritchard. Really good defending again from Louis Coyle. Back helping out defensively, but did everything right, got his body in the right position. Yes, he was fouled in the end, but good defending.
Forward comes the ball. This time for Sunderland, but still, and we're still waiting for something to kick into life into this game. In fact, it's going to be a free kick to Sunderland in defensive reach, right on the touchline, near side there, right I should say. Offside on the far side.
This young side of Sunderland need a little bit of help. They need some experience to walk through that door in this January window, because you're going to have games like this where younger players are just not going to perform.
I'm going to stop you, Mickey, because it's been given away by Sunderland. That's a good impression of Hall we've seen from them so far. It's picked up by Carvalho, edge of the penalty area. Sunderland man has slipped and gone down on the edge of the box at the moment. They're playing with 10. He's tried to haul himself up the injured man. I think it was Seal on the far side. Climbed his way back into play. Got up in time to make an interception and put the ball out over the whitewash, and the Hull fans are booing that. They're claiming if you're down and injured you can't be taking part. In fact, I think it's 09 who got up. Hull have taken the throw in quickly. They have it 25 yards out, edge of the penalty area. Still goalless at the Stadium of Light. Lakilo, edge of the penalty area. Can he get across it? Turning away from Pritchard, being stood up as well by Jensen Seelt. He stood right on it, Lakilo, and eventually is forced to go backwards towards halfway, and Jacob Greaves, and we knew it was coming. Back it goes to Ryan Alsop, and it remains goalless still. Long crossfield ball from Alsop, positive play, trying to bring in Matty Jacob, and he rose well for it, but just over his head, and it's out for a throw into Sunderland in the right back position. And don't forget, lots of live football coming up across the TalkSport network. At lunchtime tomorrow we'll bring you Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. That's a TalkSport exclusive. Also at 12:30 here on TalkSport 2, Southampton, long and beaten run taken to Swansea, and Sunderland thought they should have had a free kick there because Rushan went down and halfway in an aerial battle, realises he's not getting it, picks himself back up to his feet. There are boos from the home fans, but Hull will carry on unhindered. It's back with Alsop, who seems to have had more of the ball, the Hull goalkeeper, than any other man on the field so far in this second half, and now the home fans are getting behind their side, trying to rally some injection of spark into this game, and it's Hull who've come forward over halfway. Carvalho finding Coyle. He's already halfway inside Sunderland territory. Coyle looks up and brings in Morton. Liverpool Loney's got his head up, brings in Slater 35 yards down. Now Jacob off to the left-hand side. Lakilo tight to the touchline. Running at Jensen Seelt. Can he get across in? Tries to go on his left, and he turns back onto his right. Still penned into the corner by Seelt. Here comes Jacob now, trying to have more luck. Goes the ground route. Fabio Carvalho on the edge of the box, plays it into the penalty area. Quick 1-2. Fabio Carvalho tight to the touchline, cuts it back, and it's hooked away by Ballard. And with Pritchard controlling on the edge of the area and finding Eckworth, I think the danger has been averted, and it remains, after 12 minutes of the second half, still Sunderland 0, Hull 0.
Well, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, it's Hull City who are starting to show the confidence. Carvalho's now picking up a few nice little pockets, lovely little give and go. He got on the end of it as well, but his left foot cross just needed to be dinked towards the back stick, but certainly look a lot more positive now, and game's starting to open up a little bit.
Starting to warm up a little. As the ball from Jack Clark, as soon as I said that, he's trying to find the line and bring in Dan Neal, and it was an easy interception for the defender to hook away. O'Nien has it back for Sunderland. He's 40 yards out from goal. Picks out Clark again, afforded a pocket of space. Now a run at Doherty, turns inside, goes down, wins a free kick right on the corner of the penalty area, and this could be a promising chance for Sunderland. 0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Two sides trying to battle their way back into the playoffs. As it stands, the point would take Sunderland ahead of Coventry, who they started on level points with, into 6th. Coventry struggling Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow from 3pm. Don't forget Game Day Live with Adrian Durham taking you around the grounds, giving you all the goals from the EFL as they go in. Also got to think about Watford. They're 8th on 39 points, so level with Hull City in that regard at kick-off. Middlesbrough 10th, 39 as well. They take on Bristol City and Rotherham respectively. So you might get into the playoffs with a point tonight, but you might not stay there. And Hull, to do that, they'll need a win. But they're defending now. It's Pritchard who stands over it, gloved figure, squats over the ball. 2 men in the wall for the Tigers. Still waiting for a goal. Still waiting for this match to really kick into gear. Red and white shirts peppered among the orange-clad defenders in the penalty area. Alsop spreads his arms aloft. Referee's whistle sounds, and here comes Pritchard on the right boot, bending it towards goal, and it's hooked away and misses the target from Ballard. I think there was a defensive interception, and it's going to be a corner. That was better from Sunderland. A mean ball played in by Pritchard. Scuppered away, and the danger is averted for now.
Yeah, you want to see more of that, don't you? I mean, Pritchard's got a lot of whip and pace on that towards the near post. Ballard just trying to get away from his marker. Not quite sure if it was Louis Coy yet again in the right position at the right time, but if it was, outstanding defending yet again.
He's had a very good game, Louis Coyle. But his side are defending once more. Here comes Pritchard, far side the left, gets the curling ball in. Goalkeeper also comes for it, gets a punch in. Carvalho misses his kick in the 18-yard box, but he got just enough purchase on it to bounce it away from danger. And when Clark does pick it up for Sunderland, it's back on halfway. Black Cats 0, Tigers 0. EFL brought to you live on the home of the EFL, the TalkSport Network. Mickey Gray alongside me, Cameron Pope on TalkSport 2. And don't forget, another playoff chasing side, Norwich, travelling to West Brom tomorrow. That's your 3 p.m. commentary on TalkSport 2 with Ian Dancer and the former England international Dean Ashton. And Sunderland look to come forward with Trey Hume, 10 yards inside the whole half, back over halfway into their own reaches with O'Nien. He was body checked by Fabio Carvalho, gets the ball away forward though, brings in Neil edge of the penalty area, backwards to Clark, difficult ball for him to control, and it allowed Doherty to steal in and get it away from him. Good tackle by Greg Doherty, and away up towards halfway it goes, with the scoreline still at 0-0. And well, we've seen it flicker into life in the last few minutes, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, we have, and you mentioned there, Cameron, about cats and tigers. I think we've seen kittens and cubs so far, haven't we? I think we've got to try and change that round as quick as we possibly can and get some life into this game. But you're right, it's starting to open up a little bit now. Look, there's still been a lot of mistakes, but we are starting to see a little bit more quality from both sides. But it's all down to that final third. Who's got that bit of quality just to break the deadlock?
And there's been little bites in this one so far. Michael Beale said there was very little between the two sides when they faced off in the Sunderland win on Boxing Day. And there's been very little between them tonight. Alex Pritchard has won a free kick though, just on the edge of the centre circle. Hull City half of the field. Joe Bellingham tried to play a quick ball, but his opposite number, Ozan Tufan, stood in his way, which is risky business from Ozan Tufan. He's sporting a yellow card. Sunderland meanwhile have gone back inside their own half. It's O'Nien rolling it out to the left-hand side and bringing in Hume. Here comes Clark, trying to run at Coyle. In a crossing position, tries to get a cross in now up towards the back post where Rusyn was waiting, and stupid low the clearance comes in, the shot from the edge of the box and tipped over the bar by a brilliant save from Ryan Alsop. That is the first time we've seen him really called into action. It was a lovely diving effort, and out for a corner it goes, with the scoreline remaining at 0-0. I think it was Trey Hume that hit that, wasn't it?
It was. Great move from Jack Clark, put a lovely ball into the box, very difficult to defend, and Trey Hume absolutely super strike with a top class save from Alsop.
He's only got one goal this season. That would have been something else for the former Linfield man. Anyway, here comes the corner, bent in by Pritchard, backwards header from Alfie Jones, went across the face of goal. It's been kept alive. It would have been a corner, but Joe Bellingham thinks he can get across it. He's being closed down by Jacob, cuts it back towards Eckler, 40 yards out, bends the ball into the area. Coyle's got underneath it, or Greaves rather, to the edge of the penalty area, and then in going up for it, the big looming figure of Ballard has careered into Regan Slater, knocked him over, and it will be a free kick to Hull City on the edge of the penalty area. That's more like it. 17 and a half minutes into the second half on TalkSport 2. It is still though Sunderland 0, Hull City 0.
Bit of positivity in the game from both sides, showing a little bit more intense. I think Sunderland needed to get Jack Clark involved in the game in the second half. Well, he's certainly done that. He looks much more of a threat when he's working that ball in a 1v1 situation. He's worked it well onto his right foot. He's put a couple of decent balls into the box, a super strike from Trey Hume. A lot more positivity, and again, this is what they've got to try and do. They've got to up the tempo in the game, because Hull City, when they get the chance, they're going to keep the ball, they're going to slow the game down, they're going to make it frustrating. This is where the supporters, they get annoyed because they want to see exciting attacking football, and when it's not there, it gets frustrating, certainly on an evening like this.
The words of Mickey Gray. Over 350 league games for Sunderland. The Sunderland side who are deep inside their own half and still trying to break down Hull City, and vice versa. You're listening to Sunderland versus Hull in the EFL Championship on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Sunderland still camped well inside their own half. Here's Ballard, edge of his own penalty area. Got a lot of space to walk it into here. Dan Ballard out towards Trey Hume. It goes on halfway, or Sealt rather, trying to meander his way past Jason Lakilo. He's got it over halfway. This is opening up nicely here for Sunderland. If he can bring it out towards Clark on the far side. Running at Coyle, trying to get across him. He's got men in the centre. Cuts it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Bending cross comes in, headed away confidently by Jones. Tufan is the man to bring it down, and two red and white shirts around him. Goes down rather softly, looking for a free kick with it coming together with a 9, and the referee motions for him to get back to his feet, and he has to, because Echo is bringing it forward, and just when the move looked on, he's played it straight to a whole man. It's now rebounded towards Joe Bellingham, edge of the area. Bellingham with a shot, but he slams it into the body of a defender. Danger still there. Coming forward is Neil. Whipped out to the left-hand side again for Clark. He's waiting. He's running at Coyle. He crosses, and it's put past the post and out for a corner. Well, it must have been an intervention. I think it was Rusin who got the attacking touch. Defender's body flying in the way, swerves it round the post, and a more attacking Sunderland have got a corner. It's 0-0.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? Your biggest threat on the pitch is getting on the ball a lot more. He's making things happen. Jack Clark on that left-hand side, this time getting to the byline, puts a lovely ball back towards the near post. I just wonder whether Rusin could have let that one go in between his legs. I think it was Dan Neal who was waiting in just behind him with him for a simple tap-in, but a lot more positivity.
Another Pritchard corner then. Far side, the Sunderland left. Still goalless in this game on TalkSport 2. Here it comes, bent in towards the goalkeeper. Heads go up, and this time it will be a goal kick. But it's skittered away, I think, off the head of Dan Ballard, who got up at the near post. Tried to flick it towards the back stick and didn't get enough purchase on it to make a save, to force a save out of Allsop, but nor to bring in anybody else. And it's going on at 0-0. We're going to see the first change of the game, and Billy Sharp is going to make his way on for Hull City. Signed late in December. A man who knows about being promoted from this division to the Premier League twice with Sheffield United. Once for Southampton, he's scored goals wherever he's been. And they need a goal now. It's Ozan Tufan who's come off. He's one of the 5 Hull players on a yellow card. And on goes Billy Sharp to line up in the centre of attack. So like for like swap. In fact, it's more of an out striker, but the veteran Sharp is perhaps not suited to a full 90 minutes. And you think of the men they've got out, and missing Aaron Connolly, Jayden Philogene, Liam Delap, between them 21 goals in all competitions. Mickey, it's hard to replace.
Yeah, no, it certainly is, and I think Billy Sharp obviously been playing over in America. We don't know what his match fitness is like. He's not a spring chicken anymore as well, but I did say bringing somebody like him in to squad is absolutely key for final 25-30 minutes of games, because he's a goal poacher, and when things aren't going your way, he just waits for that one opportunity. He certainly knows how to score goals, so he's a real threat tonight.
And here's a threat from Sunderland, far side there left, with Clark trying to bend across in deep towards the back post, and Sealt was arriving, but the cross was too close to the goalkeeper, and also commanded his box well there to take that one out of the air, and the promising chance comes to nothing. Back in the hands of the goalkeeper. Still at 0-0. 22 minutes played. Stick with us over the weekend on the TalkSport network. Game Day Live again, coming to you tomorrow from 2:30 with Adrian Durham. We've got live commentaries on Sunday. Leeds versus Preston at midday on TalkSport 2. Manchester City versus Liverpool in the Women's Super League. Action continues into Monday as well in the Championship. The top 2, Leicester versus Ipswich at 8 p.m. Here comes Joe Bellingham, 35 yards out on the right foot, and it took a deflection. It'll go out for a corner. Flying in the way of it was Matthew Jacob in the 18-yard box, and it was one of those awkward spins up off the underside of his boot. Could have gone anywhere, and in the end it arcs around the post, which was, to his credit, well guarded by Ryan Allsop, and it's out for another Sunderland corner. It's still goalless.
Yeah, some of these strikes are coming from the edge of the 18-yard box, but you don't mind that at times a slight little deflection. This time Joe Bellingham getting his shot away. Had 4 Hull City players trying to close him down. Once he side another corner where Pritchard's quality is now starting to get better.
Here it comes. Pritchard raises his hand in the air, whips in another dangerous in-swing. A man went down in the penalty area for Sunderland. It was Sealt, but no complaints really, and headed away once again from Coyle, who's been a rock at the back for Hull City. Here's Ekwa, 35 yards out, maybe a shooting opportunity, and he takes it. Maybe wishes he hadn't. Got right underneath it. Proper sand wedge of a shot with his left boot. Flies over the penalty area. No danger to the goalkeeper, and it remains 0-0. Mickey Gray.
Well, he just never got himself set, Pierre Ekwa, did he? I think he was urged on by the Sunderland supporters to get his shot away, but if it's not right to strike, then you just got to get your head up. You've got to compose yourself a little bit more and just take that extra pass if you need to. They were in a good position. They had a lot of players forward. That was a big opportunity, and it's just a really poor shot from Ekwa.
The two managers are outstood in their technical areas, as we welcome listeners from TalkSport to this Well, a game that's grown in stature in the second half and in excitement, but it's still very much goalless between Sunderland and Hull. You can see Liam Rossini is marching around in his technical area in a tracksuit and puffer jacket. Michael Beale with his blue tracksuit on, hands in pockets, looking on as we've got a Hull man down on the far side. That's why we haven't got back into action. We've seen steadily more chances, most of them for Sunderland in this second period. We are about to get going again and underway, but it's been one of those games where the temperature is low and the tempo is flat, and it's Alsop who drops the ball down in front of it, level with the edge of his own penalty area. Coyle has got himself back to his feet now for Hull City, and his goalkeeper can get us back into life. We've had 69 and a half minutes of this championship clash, both sides trying to eke their way into the top six. Sunderland outside of it on goal differential, Hull a point behind. That long ball downfield has caused problems here. Goalkeepers had to come for it. Patterson went flying in, and a corner it will be. Well, it was an awkward bounce that was left by the defender. Patterson came across, jumped for it, maybe took a bit of the Hull man with him. He's knocked it out for a corner. He's now landed awkwardly on his shoulder. Eyes were on the referee, just pointed to a corner, nothing more. But there's a bit of concern here because Sunderland's young goalkeeper, having come out, is down in a heap on the floor and is groggily pulling himself to his feet.
Yeah, I think it was Billy Sharp who was involved in the collision as well with Anthony Patterson. It was a save that he had to make, and when I say save, basically just had to try and clear his lines, but Billy Sharp was not going to make it easy for him. I think eventually Patterson's got himself back to his feet. It looks like he's holding on to that arm a little bit, and this is a real threat because Hull City have got a corner.
Well, the corner to come in from far side the Hull right. Not seen much of him in attacking since the last 10. It's done by Greaves into the penalty area. Got to get this clear. Sunderland. Pritchard with his back to goal, trying to get it away. It's picked up by Jones out to the right hand side. Here comes across towards the edge of the area. Oh, what a goal! What a brilliant goal! Well, it desperately needed something. But a brilliant finish from Fabio Carvalho, who turned and volleyed with sweetness and nous befitting of a player who will go to the very, very top of the game. He's turned on the 18-yard box, he slammed it into the roof of the net, and with a bit of spark at long last, it is Sunderland 0, Hull City 1.
Well, what a brilliant strike. We said he's been very quiet in this game, Fabio Carvalho. But you give a player with that quality, that much space, the ball is going to find its way into the back of the net. It's worked really well down the right-hand side from the corner. And eventually when the ball comes into the area, nobody within 5 to 6 yards of Carvalho, he gets a lovely volley on it. I think it takes a slight little deflection when it finds its way into the back of the net, Cameron, but take nothing away from Carvalho. We wanted that bit of quality, and it's come from Carvalho. Absolutely super strike.
Well, finally, a bit of class, and it came from Fabio Carvalho, the Liverpool loanee, freshly a Hull man. He's given us something to talk about at long last, and it's a goal we'll keep talking about, I feel. The score, Sunderland 0, Hull City 1. And it's Ballard who's putting the pressure, and now there is pressure on Sunderland. Edge of his penalty area, Sharp is following him the whole way. Ekwa goes down under the challenge of Fabio Carvalho. Referee doesn't give it the first time, but when Billy Sharp comes across to at his tuppence-worth, he's barged off the ball and gives the free kick. It is 09, and will start inside his own half by 20 yards or so. Ballard picks out Hume on the edge of the penalty area. We should say in the aftermath of that goal, by the way, that Nazari Roussin was pulled off by, was withdrawn by Michael Beale for Sunderland, and Luis Hemir has come on. He's been out injured for a long time. He was brought in the summer from Benfica B for €500,000, but he's not played since late November and lost to Huddersfield. So men back when Sunderland really need it. He's featured in a couple of matchday squads. They need him to find a goal now. He hasn't got any this season. Off we go with Sunderland looking for Jack Clark on the left flank. He might be the man who can save them now. Hull set to go above Sunderland in the rush for the playoffs. Here's Ekwa, 35 yards out. Sunderland need a response. Pritchard standing on it, 40 yards out, crossing to the penalty area. He was looking for Hemir, doesn't find him. Ekwa goes in for it, won by Carvalho. He's got the win behind him now. Out towards the right-hand side for Sunderland, coming forward into the penalty area. Seal tries to dummy and get it onto his left foot, but it was well read there by Matty Jacob, and it's slammed clear by Jason Lakilo. And it looked like Sunderland were the side who were picking up a bit of vigour in this second half, but that goal has changed everything.
Yeah, you've got to make that possession and that threat in the final third. You've got to make a count. If you don't make a count, then it only takes one opportunity. And Hull City, the opposition, have certainly made themselves count. They got that corner, they kept the ball alive. What an outstanding finish it was.
Here comes Clark looking for a finish of his own. Can he provide also into the penalty area up against Greg Doherty? He's been forced away from goal. Back to Ekwa. This could be a chance. 30 yards out. Let's rip, but it's flown wide of the post. And it's never a good sign when a goalkeeper's got his arms wide and outstretched, rooted to the spot. It looked good from up here, with side on angle for myself and Mickey Gray. But I think a few Sunderland fans behind the goal were shaking their heads at the sight of that one flying by. We've had 29 minutes of this second half on TalkSport 2, and it's Sunderland 0, Hull City 1.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Ekwa's left his shooting boots in the dressing room, hasn't he, Cameron? He's had 2 shots and they've just not threatened that Hull City goal at all. It's a real problem, there's no doubt about it. But look, they've got to keep knocking on the door. They know what they have to do now. Got to try and get themselves back into the game first and foremost.
Well, there are some Sunderland fans who are stood up in front of the press box down below us. I can hear them in very loud tones debating the intricacies of what's gone wrong. But they're not happy about it, and nor are most of the crowd inside this 49,000-seater facility. It's a long way short of full tonight, and if it stays like this, more will be heading for the exits prematurely, I'm sure. 74 minutes played. Sunderland 0, Hull 1. It's Sunderland coming forward 35 yards out. Pritchard, it's overrunning the pass. Neil with the ball in, and Pritchard either misread it or it was overcooked, but either way it's broken down, and Sunderland can't afford these opportunities to pass them by. They've created far more in the second period than their visitors, but at the moment it's Hull City who are set to level the scores after going down 1-0 on Boxing Day. And it's a rare one that teams will come across each other in games in such close proximity, and both have been similar in the way that there's been very little between the two sides. And that goal certainly came against the run of play, and Hull seem to have a new confidence about them now. It's Jacob to take the throw in from the left back position. Goes over the head of Billy Sharp, and Lakila will chase it down into the Sunderland half, where 09 will pick it up. Deepest lying red and white shirt forward to Joe Bellingham, who's almost playing as a central midfielder now. He's dropped so deep, Mickey.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got to try and make something happen now, haven't they, Sunderland? Somebody's got to go out there, they take that risk. Jack Clark's been a little bit more lively in the second 45 minutes, but it's that final third. Where's the creativity? If it's not coming from Jack Clark, I'm just wondering where it's going to come from. You need somebody getting in behind him if you possibly can. Somebody breaking the neck to get themselves in the box, to get on the end of one of his crosses.
Here comes the cross, possibly from Clark. He cuts it back towards the 18-yard box, and Echo was waiting there. Billy Sharp played it back into his penalty area to get it cleared, and Matty Jacob did just that. But it seemed to spur the home fans on. They're wanting a charge into the penalty area. They've got the ball with Ballard 45 yards out. Still at 1-0 to Hull City. This game coming to you live on TalkSport 2. Your home of the EFL. Clark far side, the Sunderland left. Needs something to change to the Black Cats. Ballard 45 yards out. It's going back to walking pace again this game. Here's Pritchard 50 yards out in a central position. It's going to use Neil. Might think about a shot here. He was afforded a bit of room. Instead picks out Clark on the edge of the penalty area. Running it, Louis Coyle. Back to Pritchard. Opens it up onto his right boot, but they saw it coming in. Hull City got bodies in the way. It's cleared towards 09. 45 yards out as they try to press through the lines once again. It's Neil up towards Pritchard. Turns on the edge of the penalty area. Might go towards Clark. Goes to cross himself, and it swings into the hands of the goalkeeper. It goes over the head of Louis Hemir. And Allsop has taken a moment after a couple of minutes of sustained pressure to gather that ball and rest on all fours in his 6-yard box. We have played over 77 minutes here at the Stadium of Light on TalkSport 2. It's still Sunderland 0, Hull 1.
Well, as poor as the game's been, Cameron, I have to say Liam Rossini is going to be thrilled to pieces, because they've come here, they needed to take the lead in the game, which they've managed to do in the second half. Now they can sit back, and Sunderland have to come up with the answers to get themselves back on level terms. There'll be no rush from any Hull City player now to get the ball down and come out from the back and play quick football. They've just got to sit in there, they've got to do their jobs, and if they can do that, they can come away from the Stadium of Light with 3 points, and this could be a huge win for them. They won't care at the end of this game if that is the result. It's all about performances and just picking up those 3 points and jumping into the playoffs.
Well, they've only won 1 of the last 7 in all competitions, and the last 3 away from home, and they're defending now because it's been picked up by Lewis Hemir. Well, he fancied himself there, he was allowed a bit of room, 40 yards out, turned and drilled the shot, and it had power, and a slight sidestep was all it took though from Ryan Allsop to dip down and pick that ball up, and it's back in his safe hands once again. We have had 33 and a half minutes of this second period. Fabio Carvalho's goal, and what a goal it was, by the way. Sweet right-footed volley from the edge of the area from the Liverpool loanee is the one that separates us at the moment. So as it stands, Hull will go into the top 6 at least overnight. Sunderland will remain on the fringes of it. In fact, as it stands, it'll be Hull 6th, Coventry 7th, Sunderland 8th, but it's hardly worth noting because it could be a completely different order by the end of the weekend. Plenty more games to come over the next 3 days on the TalkSport network. And don't forget, Carabao Cup semi-finals conclude on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Can we see Fulham get back into it against Liverpool? Can we see Middlesbrough hold off Chelsea? At the moment, it's Hull who are holding off Sunderland. The Black Cats will come forward with a throw-in on halfway. There was a momentary problem for Fabio Carvalho, who went down holding his leg, but he's limped himself back into action now. There's going to be a double change for the home side. I can see Abdullah Bar and Timothy Pembele getting ready to come on, so an attacking midfielder and a full-back. And they've got around 10 minutes of normal time to make a difference. Clark going forward down the left flank for Sunderland in a tangle with Coyle. Referee thought about the free kick and then gives it when there's no advantage forthcoming. And it will be a crossing opportunity from this free kick, which is level at the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I mean, he had two little bites at it there, Louis Coyle, didn't he? I think the second one where the referee was right over at Rob Jones, blew his whistle. It gives Pritchard another opportunity. He's just drifted across over to that left-hand side for Sunderland. He's got to whip this one, and he's got 5-6 Sunderland players to aim for. This is where you need that quality. When you're behind in a game, you need the quality from Pritchard, but you also need one of those players who are in the 18-yard box to try and get away from their marker.
Here comes the free kick, or we thought so. It's just been marched out, the run-up from Alex Pritchard. One-man wall consisting of Fabio Carvalho. Sunderland looking to get back into this game. They trail by a goal to nil. 10 minutes of normal time remaining. Here comes Pritchard, right-footed, flat ball, headed away by Coyle. He's been on the end of everything tonight, and he's got this ball away again. Hume picks it up, back into the penalty area. Almost fell for Ballard. Out towards Pritchard, edge of the penalty area. Flicks it, toe prods off the head of Coyle. This time behind him. Falls in the 18-yard box, and Neil slices it over the bar. And another chance passes Sunderland by. It remains the Black Cats 0, Hull City 1.
Yeah, I think all these strikes from Sunderland, Cameron, they're coming from outside of the 18-yard box, and I think that's full credit to the way that Hull City have defended. They're making it hard for Sunderland to get in behind the back three of them. Greaves and Jones, the two centre-halves from Hull City, have been nice and solid whenever they've been called upon. And Louis Coyle's been outstanding. Jacob on the left-hand side's got himself forward when he's got the opportunity, but in 1v1 situations, I don't think he's really had a threat. Defensively, he's been no threat from Sunderland down this right-hand side whatsoever. They're just predictable, Sunderland. They're easy to play against. If you can mark Jack Clark out of the game, you have a real chance of beating Sunderland, and that's a big worry for me, because you need more answers if you're the home side. You've got to ask more questions of Hull City at the back. They're not coming at the moment.
81 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Sunderland 0, Hull City 1. Fabio Carvalho the scorer midway through the second half, and there's been a double change by the way for Sunderland. Jensen Seelt has come off to be replaced at right back by Timothée Pembele, the Frenchman, and Pierre Ekwert, more of a defensive midfielder, has been replaced by an attacking midfielder in Abdullah Bar. What do we make of that, Mickey?
Well, I mean, Sealt's really struggled all night, hasn't he? In Bar, he's been left out of the starting 11, so maybe he can prove a point to the manager to say, look, you shouldn't have left me out. Being given an opportunity, for the final 9 minutes of the game.
Here comes Pritchard, ducked between two orange shirts, opens up the ball to try and find Bar. He's pounced upon. That ball's been won back by Hull City, trying to get out from danger, but Morton will be forced to move it quickly. Or Morton, should I say? It was in the centre part with Carvalho. Down towards the byline it goes, up towards the running, quickly moving Abdullah Bar. Gets the cross in, it sits behind for a corner. Another corner for Sunderland. And a yellow card has gone to the goalkeeper, I think, this time. Ryan Alsop joins the club. Well, he was having a word with Rob Jones when Sunderland were making the substitution. It was he and Louis Coyle who were in the referee's ear. Not sure what the contention was, but either way, he's had one word too many, and he's going to the referee's book. So, a change in order for Hull City. It's going to be Sean McLaughlin who comes on. And is that Fabio Carvalho that they're bringing on? It is, the goal scorer. Off he goes. He's not been playing much football in the first half of the season.
No, so he's been on there, he's done his job, he's got his goal, a massive hug from Liam Rosenia. I'd be thrilled to pieces. It's minutes under his belt, and it gives McLaughlin the opportunity, maybe just to show Hull up to see this game out.
So on comes McLaughlin, a centre-back for an attacking midfielder, and they're defending straight away. Hull lead by a goal to nil, but it's Sunderland with the corner. Pritchard, right-footed, outswinger, hits the first man. It's the cardinal sin of taking a corner, and it's powerfully headed away for a Sunderland throw-in, but 40 yards away from the corner flag, and they still trail after 83 minutes on TalkSport 2. Need something to change to Sunderland. Can Joe Bellingham be the man who changes that? He's got the ball in the centre circle, whole half of the field. Out towards the near side right touchline it comes, and Timothy Pembele trying to roll his man, cuts it backwards towards Barr. Barr, corner of the penalty area, into Pritchard, move quickly, but it's behind Pembele, and Lakilo can steal onto it, and the ball is slammed away from danger. And again, Sunderland will have to start from square one. 84 reading on the stadium clock now. Dan Neil in the centre circle. Joe Bellingham 10 yards further forward, trying to advance into the attacking third, and there was a pass on down the flank if you'd seen it towards Pembele, and there are groans from the home fans. He's kept the ball in midfield, is Joe Bellingham. 1-2 with Barr. They'll keep exchanging passes, and now Bellingham can come forward. 35 yards out, Pritchard trying to play an attacking ball. The man's cleaned out on the edge of the penalty area. Forward comes Pembele. It ricochets back off him, out for a dead ball, and it's going to be a goal kick to Hull City, and it remains the Tigers who lead by a goal to nil in the North East.
Well, time's ticking out now, isn't it? 6 minutes of normal time remaining in the game, and whatever's going to get added on to that as well. I mean, Michael Beale's made those changes. Barr's not really got himself involved in the game as yet. Emir's had one opportunity, wasn't really a threat to that Hull City goal. Pembele trying to work hard down this right-hand side, but I just don't think they've come up with the right answers tonight. Cameron, I've got to be honest with you, Sunderland to win this football match, and you think there's moans and groans now. You wait till that full-time whistle goes. If this result stays the way that it is, they will not be happy, these Sunderland supporters. They expected to come to the stadium tonight and maybe pick up 3 points against a really good side in Hull City, I have to say. But this is not where Sunderland need to be. It was progression why Michael Beale was brought into this club. Well, I'm yet to see it.
It's a horrible start to the weekend that beckons the Sunderland AFC. They're inside their own half once again, which is where most of their possession has come in times of need, unfortunately. And Neil comes forward over halfway. It's brought down by Hume, and 1-2 with Clark, gets the cross in dangerously, and it's threaded behind by Alfie Jones, and it's the umpteenth Sunderland corner to be taken by Alex Pritchard, and they're varied in quality. He's smashed a few into the first man, he's hit some lovely curling balls that Allsop's had to deal with. And 40,000 is the gate. I'm not too sure about that. I think that's been tickets counter, because there are more than 9,000 empty seats, but those who have remained are holding out hope for a late equaliser. 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Pritchard on the corner, bends it in. It's headed away by Greaves, and the man's gone down at the back post there. Ballard it was. A couple of rumblings from the home fans. Nothing given by the referee as Barr attacks. Right edge of the penalty area. Cuts it back. Hume bends it in. Misses the head of Hemir. Headed away towards the edge of the penalty area. Can they start something again? This time a run down the left-hand side, but the tackle comes in from Matty Jacob. And out it goes for another corner to Sunderland. Can they do anything with it? We are ticking towards full time.
Dan Ballard still having a word with the linesman there. He thought he was dragged to the ground. I think it was McLaughlin who dragged him down. I'm not quite sure. We haven't got replays to see what happened, but they have another chance right now.
Pritchard, can he make it count? On the right boot, again an in-swinger, flicks on into a massive defenders, and somehow it's ended up in the hands of the goalkeeper. Well, Ballard with a flick backwards, he dived towards the front post, knocked it into an area that was densely populated with orange shirts, and then Allsop goes down, comes up with the ball. He's then stayed on his haunches, and the referee coming across has just had a word with him and said, "Mate, remember you're on a yellow card?"
Yeah,
he suddenly picked himself up.
Oh my goodness, I mean...
Well, now he's put the ball down. The referee's come across, he's checking he's okay. The referee's now called a stoppage, and he's, I thought he was unfastening his glove there, Ryan Allsop. In the meantime, there's going to be a change for Hull City. Lakilo is coming off, and making his way on is the Iranian Alias Sayadmanesh to close out the final few minutes. And finally, we are back underway, because after all that kerfuffle, Allsop is okay. Referee drops the ball to him, and he waits for Lewis Hemir to come and close him down, picks the ball up, and finally off we go. And in that, Sharab, we've had a minute further elapse, which means only 2 1/4 remain for Sunderland to get back into this game.
Well, we did see Rob Jones. He had his arm with his wristwatch up in the air, didn't he, just to make sure that everybody in the stadium knew that he'd stopped the clock. But Ryan Allsop, I think he was just playing the game there. As that corner come in, he had 4 of his own defenders around him. I think he got a back heel into his face. He's still been rubbing it as I've been watching the game as it's progressing. But yeah, as I said, Cameron, they've got themselves in front. They're not going to rush until they hear that final whistle.
Patterson's played an awkward ball. He smacked it into Billy Sharp. It comes away from the Hull man, though. Rebounds into Sunderland hands, and there is a free kick that's given on the end of it. I thought for handball maybe that was given against Alias Sayadmanesh, and now another yellow card has come out, and that was thrown into a crowd of Hull players. I haven't seen who it's gone for officially. Well, I have to check in on that, but I want to go back to the clearance from Patterson, who waited and waited, then slammed it into the body of Billy Sharp. Could have gone horribly awry. Does remain Sunderland 0, Hull 1.
Yeah, it sums up the performance, doesn't it? Scrappy things like that, when you've got no pressure on you whatsoever, you're just trying to clear your lines with basically no pressure on you whatsoever. And again, Anthony Patterson, the Sunderland goalkeeper, he's not been called upon too much, but when he has been, you've got to make sure that things that you do are precise, certainly as a goalkeeper.
Here's Ballard. He's the deepest lying Sunderland shirt, but he's still 20 yards inside the whole half as the Black Cats chase this game into the final minute of normal time. Wide it goes towards Jack Clark. Crossing position, dangerous one. He's found Hemme with his back to goal, tries to tee up Alex Pritchard, but it was the wrong option because he was already marked out of the game, and the ball is cleared by Regan Slater out of the whole half, and Sunderland are forced to go again. They need a generous helping here, the home side, of added time, the extent of which we'll discover in around 30 seconds time. Sunderland have a throw, and he's moving a little gingerly inside the ball. It's because he's lost his boot, and it's a fluorescent yellow, and in the challenge he's just hopped away, apologised to the referee, picks up his right shoe, and ready to go again. Ticking further towards the conclusion that does not suit Sunderland at all. Jack Clark coming down the left-hand flank, his side trailing by a goal to nil, cuts it back to Hume, now inside the penalty area, back out towards the edge of the box, cross the face of goal with the cross up towards Hemme, cleared away by Hull City. It drops on the edge of the box, and pouncing is Billy Sharp, helping out with the defensive effort. He then runs it backwards and diagonally into his defensive third before slamming the ball up the line. And out for a Sunderland throw as the board goes up and signifies something that might encourage Sunderland fans. 5 minutes of added time. We're into them now, Nicky Great.
Well, they might as well push everybody forward and try and get something out of the game, or maybe cause the problem of losing the game 2-0, but who cares? You're playing out your home turf, your form's been pretty good here, won 5 of the last 7, got to try and get something out of it.
Here comes the cross on the left-hand side, deep towards the back of the penalty area where Louis Hemme was in there, and there's a man down in red and white shirt as well. It's Ballard. And there are rumblings from all around. Some of the fans are heading for the exits at the Stadium of Light. Those who stayed behind had scant hope of a penalty, but the referee was on hand to see it, and no decision for him to make, and it's into the hands of Allsop again. And something tells me, Mickey, that he might take a little bit of time to release this ball.
Yeah, absolutely. How is Dan Ballard involved yet again? He's been on the ground in Hull City's 18-yard box on a couple of occasions. This one, I think it was just a coming together. Physicality in the football game, there's no doubt about it, but not a penalty for me.
Well, it's cleared out of the hands of Allsop, and Louis Hemme tried to block him as that ball was cleared away. By the way, it was Matty Jacob who picks up Hull's 7th yellow card of the game in that fracas in the Sunderland half a moment ago. That's been cleared up. And it's Jacob who will take the throw-in for Hull City, 20 yards inside the Sunderland half. Tigers lead by a goal to nil. Fabio Carvalho's excellent volley 20 minutes from time is set to be the winner in a game that has otherwise lacked quality, particularly in an attacking sense. It's Pembele who takes a throw-in for Sunderland now, back towards Ballard in his own penalty area. Into Patterson, the goalkeeper slays it out to the left-hand side this time. Sunderland need this ball down the field. We've had nearly 2 minutes of the 5 elapse already. It is Ballard on halfway, forward towards Barr, first time ball into Pembele, 1-2 between those two, and he tries a return ball. Barr hits the defender, Regan Slater, and out for a throw into Sunderland. And they have managed to work their way here, the Black Cats, halfway inside the whole half, but still this equaliser eludes them. Will it continue to do so? It's Neil springing it out to the left-hand side, trying to find Clark, who's coming up against an increasingly tired-looking Coyle, but Coyle has done well to get in front of the man. He goes down looking for a free kick. He's not going to get that, but he has managed to knock it out for a corner just when Clark was advancing as he does best.
He's been outstanding, Louis Coyle. He really has, even in the first half, which was really, really poor. He's done his job tonight in a 1v1 situation with Jack Clark. He's kept him very, very quiet. Absolutely superb defending.
Well, here comes the corner. Sunderland trailing by a goal to nil on TalkSport 2. Anthony Patterson has come up, the goalkeeper. Here comes Pritchard's ball. Into it, up towards Patterson. It's headed away into the 18-yard box. Is there going to be a shot on the end of this one? Out towards the left-hand side it goes. Here comes the return cross. Everybody up for Sunderland, still chasing this game. Slater away. It's out towards the edge of the penalty area with Neil trying to turn. He's conceded a free kick and holding off his man, and there are boos now cascading down from the terraces at the Stadium of Light. The yellow card has come out too, and if Sunderland is to find an equaliser in this game, it'll have to come very, very late, because with less than 2 minutes of added time remaining, they're going to have to defend a free kick, win the ball back, traverse the field here in the northeast and do something they failed to do, and properly test Ryan Alsop. It's not looking likely on the balance of what we've seen. There's a momentary stoppage as we wait for this free kick to be taken. 90 seconds of the added 5 remaining, and on TalkSport 2, it's Sunderland 0, Hull 1, Mickey Gray.
Well, so yeah, Madeshi, I mean, he stayed on the ground there, hasn't he? He's obviously felt a little bit of contact from Jack Clarke as he just shrugged him out of the way, and that was probably the final opportunity that Sunderland were going to get in this game. They worked it really well down the left-hand side, and when it fell to Jack Clarke, he just wanted him to try and work that half a yard. He did that, but Rob Jones was on the spot, and he's eventually put Jack Clarke in the book. I mean, how many yellow cards is that for both sides tonight?
Long goes the ball forward from Ryan Alsop, trying to find a way into the attacking third. It might be largely redundant now. Hull have nearly done enough. We're into the final minute of 5 added, and there's a hurried nature about the bowl out from Patterson towards his defender 09. Long crossfield ball up towards Lewis Hemir. Big ball into the sky is headed away by Greaves. Pritchard is underneath it, tries to turn it in towards the path of Barr, but it's nicked back off him. Forward comes Aliard trying to turn and find a way through into the Sunderland half. Black Cats have won it back. 30 seconds left on the clock. Into added time, deep into it. Clarke coming forward against Coyle. Has to go running in. Clarke towards the byline, cuts it back and out for a corner it goes. And a brilliant defensive intervention. And this will be the final chance of the game, I hazard a guess. And it remains Sunderland 0, Hull City 1. And if something's going to change, it has to change right now.
Well, everybody, Sunderland, I mean, they've got one defender back, and Anthony Patterson again's found himself in that 18-yard box.
Here it comes. That would be a story. Alex Pritchard for the final time possibly bends it towards the back post, heads go up, there's going to be a second chance here, goalkeepers come for it, scrambled away by the defence to the 18-yard box. We're on borrowed time. It's a terrible ball back in by Trey Hume, easily fielded away, and the referee puts his whistle to his lips, but the sound is drowned out by boos ringing out around the Stadium of Light. It was a lacklustre performance from Sunderland, way off the pace in this battle of playoff contenders. Hull City did just about enough. This game was light on quality, but in one moment it shone through. Fabio Carvalho, a volley sweet as anything from the edge of the penalty area, curving into the back of the net, and that's earned Hull City a massive 3 points in the context of the race for the top 6. The final score on TalkSport 2, Sunderland 0, Hull City 1.